On mic today, we have Artie Hoffman. How are you doing this fine day, sir?
Hey, I'm doing really good. I'm feeling good.
I'm glad.
Everything's going great. Yeah, I'm not worried about all what's going on out there around the world in the sense of the virus itself. As far as all the circumstances going on, that sucks. But as far as the virus itself, I'm not worried about that at all.
Glad to hear that. I was actually hoping you were going to bring that up, so let's get that off the bat right away.
Yeah, no, because it's the hottest topic right now.
Mhm.
No, I personally think it's way overblown by 10,000 times. And I think they're doing an overkill. I mean, you know, the between it's a virus. It's like everything else. It's not
Mhm.
like the plague. They make it sound like every other person has it, and
No, right.
it's just like the flu or any other swine flu or whatever else it was. It's not. All of a sudden everyone's afraid of everybody, and that's what they want, and that's ridiculous. So it kind of ticks me off about how they instill fear, and I think it's all political. I 100% believe it's all political. And so I'm not afraid to touch anybody. I'm not afraid to be in anybody's company. I'm not afraid to be in crowds. You know, if somebody has a cold, somebody has the flu. Listen, it is what it is, and it attacks mostly older people. It's people who have a low immune system, and
Hmm.
I've been taking vitamins for a while now to build up my immune system. So I really don't give a crap. So if you do find out you have the coronavirus, right away they say just drink water, and it'll flush it right out of your system. Just keep drinking a lot of water, like every 15, 20 minutes, and if you feel like you have it, it'll just flush it out of your system.
Now I hadn't heard that one yet, so that's interesting on that. Uh, but it does make some sense.
Yeah. So, like I said, I 1,000% believe it's all political, and it's bullcrap. And a lot of it is that they're trying to make life very difficult for Donald Trump. And I just, like I said, he's still. I I'm not a very political person. I'm anti-politics, but I will tell you this, and I Donald Trump will 100% win the presidency.
Hmm.
Well, definitely win the presidency second go around. So, and they're just pulling out all the stops to try to put the fear in people and whatnot. This is going to blow over. It's just, it's right now they have everybody heightened up, and then all of a sudden one day, what one or two people are going to say, "Okay, everybody, it's okay, we got it under control." Like what? All of a sudden everybody's safe again? It makes no sense. It's stupid. You
I
know,
don't even
it's
I don't even think that's going to happen. I think what it'll be is the next big story will come along, and then this will just quietly stop being talked about. That's the way most of these things end up getting resolved. I so seldom see a story in the news where somebody says, "Hey, that problem we had is gone now. We just have a new problem." That's the only way we deal with things in the news is we suddenly have a new problem and the old one gets silenced.
Yeah, yeah. This is just a temporary thing. It's not like, it's just like people do an over fear kill when there's, they say, oh, there's a snowstorm coming, and then they
Hmm.
stockpile it up like they're going to be inside their house for 2 weeks. It's like it's ridiculous. It's like it just fear and arrogance just irritates me. It really does. I don't have patience for stuff like that. It's nonsense. It's just the creation of your own perception of your own mind. It's not reality. It's the reality of the person who is fearful or worried. I mean, I feel bad. Don't get me wrong. I feel bad for people who are sick, who are genuinely sick. I mean, that sucks.
Hmm.
But like I said, it's like walking into a hospital. It's like, well, why should anyone go into the hospital? Everyone's filled with diseases there. That's why it's a hospital. But you have people walking around like no big deal. It's like, give me a break, you know? And if you are going to be in an area where somebody is very vulnerable with their immune system or whatnot, you just put a mask on yourself for not your sake, if anything, for their sake.
Hmm.
So because they're vulnerable. So that's what you do when you go into a hospital. If somebody has a low immune system or a low situation going on with their health. So, but it really is. It's an overkill. It's ridiculous, and I'm just upset about the way it's going down. I feel bad that everything was shut down.
Hmm.
Which again I think is an extreme overkill. Um, but You know what? It is what it is. And, that's why I don't care about politics. You have no control over that. I just take care of my own little world here. That's all
Hmm.
I have to control. I'll still go out, have a nice time with somebody, do my own thing. I just do my arty thing, whatever that may be, whether it be watching TV, going to the movies, or I don't even know, think the movie theaters are open, but going to restaurants, BSing with friends or whatever. So, like I said, the whole damn thing is just an extreme overkill, extreme, all capital letters, extreme overkill. And it's just upsetting. Yeah, it sucks. Like, what, so many thousands of people have it in different countries, but how many millions and millions and millions of people are in the country? You're
Hmm.
talking less than 0.01%, 0.01% of 0.01% that have it. It's not like every other person. So it's like, what? So there's a plane crash, so all of a sudden everyone stops flying? Give me a break. There's
People
about
do.
there's about 10,000 planes in the air every single day. And it's like you hear about a plane crash once every few months or once every 6 months, whatever. And it sucks when it happens. I feel sorry for everybody who actually has to go through that crap. But it's like
Hmm.
getting hit by a lightning storm. What? Don't go outside. So and so got struck by lightning. Nobody go outside. It's lightning outside. If I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get hit, just like the lottery. If it hits me, it hits me.
That's a decent outlook. It really is. You're
Yeah.
talking about doing your arty thing, and you're talking about you were hitting on a lot of things that we're about here. It's like, look, make the best of your life, make the best of the people you're with, do the best you can to make the world a better place. We don't really do politics on here just because I want to be open to anybody who wants to come on. I don't want to just pick a certain mindset and only have those kinds of people on here. So when you say doing your arty thing, you are, I don't want to, you're a medium, you say?
Yeah.
A medium, and a life coach, and you're doing a lot of that work right here, right now. And I can definitely see why you'd have a knack for it.
Thank you. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm known as a psychic medium, life coach, spiritualist, and a lot of people who come in to see me, they want to know what their future is. And a lot of times I might sound like Dr. Phil rather than, somebody who's psychic, and they feel like, I feel like I'm going through therapy right now.
Hmm.
Now, the reason why I talk to certain people in a certain way, it's not always the problem. That's the problem. It's how you're handling it, how you're visualizing it,
Hmm.
how you're dealing with it. That's the problem. The problem is what it is. So what you need to do is come to an acceptance of what it is. I'm not saying you have to like it. All I'm saying is you need to come to an acceptance of whatever circumstances you have going on in your life, whether it be you personally or whether it be you in a relationship. But when you accept the person for who they are or the situation for what it is, then you can adjust yourself according to the situation of what's given to you. So you can make it a horrific experience, an emotional horrific experience, or you could take it as passe and just, what, it is what it is. I'll just make the best of it. That's all I can do. So when people come in to see me and I rewire their way of thinking, it gives them power within their life. So now they could handle their relationships or their circumstances much better because they're no longer giving their power away to other people. I give power back to themselves. And that's what it's all about. Because if I was just to tell people future events based on their energy when they come to see me, then their reading will suck because I'll be telling them about a bunch of woeful things that
Hmm.
are to happen because your energy sucks. You're creating it. Energy breeds energy. So what I do is like, without them saying a word, when I'm in their company or even over the phone, I'm just as accurate over the phone. So when I'm in somebody's company, it's like I pick up on their energy, and then I feel what they're going through, and then I see how they're thinking about themselves or the situation, and then I just rework their way of thinking, their frame of thinking. So now that they could start feeling better about themselves and they can make healthier choices. And a lot of times it's about giving them the courage to leave a job or a relationship that they're not happy with, or that they're not, that they're not happy with, so that they can now move on to a better circumstance. And so many people are so afraid of being alone that a lot of times it is better than being alone than dealing with constant resistance on a daily basis. There are too many people who say, you know what, at least I might have crap, but at least I know the crap I got, and that's terrible. That's a terrible way of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that's the way people think. And then people become very codependent emotionally or financially on their partner. So people under those circumstances, or with their job, people under those circumstances have what's known as golden handcuffs. Golden handcuffs is when you're in a job or a relationship that you don't like, but yet the benefits are just good enough to keep you there. They're golden handcuffs. And it sucks. And I see a lot of people, and a lot of my friends are in relationships where it's like they're just always very agitated. And I was very agitated with my previous relationship. And I basically just said to her, I said, look, I said, if this is all you have to give me, and I loved her with all my heart. I really did. I did not want us to break up. But I said to her, if this is all you have to give to me, then you know what? I'm out. I'm out, because I'm tired of feeling like crap because I 100% believe the love and respect that you give to someone is the love and respect you deserve in return. So, so everything that you're hearing of me right now is more of the life coach in me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being psychic. I'm not being medium. For those of you who say, well, what's the difference? A life coach is what I just said to you. It's about talking about life and giving you a healthy perspective.
Mm-hmm.
A psychic predicts the past, predicts the present and the future. A psychic will help you understand your past of events, that what you're going through, what happened. And a medium is somebody who communicates to people who've passed away, the dead. But they're really not dead, but their body's dead, but their spirit lives on. Like you and I right now. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
even when our bodies go into the cemetery, or if you're cremated, whatever, you're still not dead, because your soul and spirit is who we are. And your soul and spirit is using your body to express itself. So once you die, it's not you that dies, it's the body that dies, and the soul lifts up out of the body, and it goes into a different energy light form. And you just continue living your life, but just in a different energy light form. So that's why I'm able to connect to people who passed away, because they've never died. The soul never died, just the spirit. It's just that we miss them in the form that we know it, because we're stuck in this human world, So it's like we're spiritual beings living a human experience.
So when you contact somebody from, I'm going to use the phrase the other side, how does that introduction happen? How do you become aware of them at first?
Well, either they make themselves aware to me by sending images in my head, or when I look at a picture. So I have friends who don't need a picture. They'll just like get in that mode. And
Mm-hmm.
I could do that too at times. But for me, I've always used a picture as a crutch. I don't need a picture when the people are alive, or I don't need a picture like if you want to talk about somebody who's alive, whether it be your brother, your friend, your parents, your siblings. I don't need a picture. You just have to mention their name and stuff, and I'll just start looking at them. I'll start looking at the cards, or I'll start getting images right away. But with the deceased, sometimes I could do that, and sometimes I can't. Well, actually, when I do live shows, for whatever reason, I could do it. I don't know. It has to do probably with my personal self-confidence, maybe. I don't know. But, I've been pretty accurate, There are times, people say, well, do you tell people bad news? I don't tell people when they're going to die. It never serves a purpose. The only time I'll tell somebody when they're going to die is if somebody's already on their deathbed and you're taking care of them, so you want to prepare yourself. That's different. But if you're just living a regular, normal, average life, even if you're sick, I'm still not going to tell you when you're going to die, because subconsciously, you're always just going to think about it in the back of your mind. You could create that to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I don't want to put that seed into anybody's head, So I think anyone who does tell anybody when they're going to die, I think they suck. And, or if somebody tells you, oh, somebody put a curse on you, those people are usually the ones who are trying to manipulate you and get thousands of dollars from you so that they can remove the curse that they said you had. And you know who put the curse on them? The person who just told them that there's a curse on you, because they did that as a subliminal, what's that called? When you're projecting your thoughts onto somebody to make something happen. I forgot what the hell that phrase is. But anyway, it's when you put thoughts into people's mind to make them do what it is, subliminal suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So those people who say, oh, somebody put a curse on you, I have this and you have that. So they magnify their fears and worries. So now it's like, pay me thousands of dollars and I will remove the curse from you. And it's like, I don't buy into that crap. I just don't buy into it. Are there people who just got bad juju around them? Yeah, there's some of those people, but it's something that if you have a good life coach or, some, positive people around you, or you change your thoughts. If you keep on hanging around people or situations that are negative, yeah, your circumstances are going to continue to suck. They're not going to change. You're going to have to change and step up your game and say, all right, this is enough. This is enough. I don't want this anymore. It's like, it's not for me. But unfortunately, too many people grow comfortable in the uncomfortableness. And, and it's a shame because they look at it as a way of life. So I give people a lot of credit who are bold enough to want to make changes in their life, who do say, you know what, I'd rather live in a cardboard box than in this large house with an a-hole or with these hairy situations. People should be going for a quality of life, emotional quality of life, and not the material quantity of life. And that's where people are most disillusioned. So, I understand, they say money isn't everything. Money and fire are extremely important in life, extremely important. And so is love. But if you don't respect the energy, like anything, it could bite you in the ass. Money, people say, they say that, I'm in the process of writing my second book. But I'm not going to say what the name is because I don't have it copywritten just yet. But I'm in the process of writing my second book. I do have a book out that I promise you, everyone who's listening, you're going to think I wrote this book specifically for you because it has a lot of interesting thought process about life itself and about your life and your way of thinking. So I just went off in a tangent, and I just don't know what I forgot what I was just talking about, where I was going.
That's all right. We got off starting with just discussing what it's like to introduce ourselves to the other side, and then you did a really good job of kind of explaining the differences and how you perceive these things and how useful it is. And that's a heck of a great start. That you're blowing my mind with everything you're mentioning here, and I'd love to sit and talk about any of this stuff for an extended period of time.
Oh, thank you.
I have a huge interest in this, and my wife and I were just talking about last night how people who can perceive things without a logical reason why.
It's out of fear. That's why. It's strictly out of fear.
Okay.
That's why people do what you just said. They'll just change things even when things are okay. But, that's the difference. As a psychic, that's the difference. It's really ticking me off because there was an interesting topic or something I know I wanted to say, and I just went off on a tangent, but that's what happens. As a psychic, I don't remember jack crap what I say to people. I don't remember next to nothing. The only time I remember things is when people come back to me after the fact,
mm-hmm.
and they'll tell me what happened, what I said, and then what happened. And then that's pretty exciting. And I'll remember that because I'm in a conscious state of mind. But while I'm reading and stuff like that, while I'm doing readings, I don't remember what I say when I'm saying it in the moment. So, but unfortunately, as you're experiencing with the public now, everyone is motivated by fear. And, there's two types of, and I say this metaphorically, and that because this has to do with life, there's two types of swimmers. There's the swimmer who swims really good out of fear because they're afraid of drowning, and because the tide is going in reverse. And if you don't build up your muscles or become a really good swimmer, you're going to go over the Niagara Falls. You're going to go over the falls. So you have to become a really good swimmer to go against the tide. And then there are people who are really good swimmers because they love to swim. So they're doing it for the love of it. So there are people who are overly successful because they're so afraid of becoming a failure in life. They're so afraid of being poor because of what they've experienced in life that they become an overachiever. And then there are people who become very successful in life because they love doing what they love to do, and they become really good at it. Now, the people who are really good at what they do, but they start to get bored with it. It's like, it's like, I'll give you an example. There are people who are great at buying homes, flipping homes, buying home, flipping homes. They buy it up, they fix it up, they sell it, they buy it, and to them, it's just, all right, it's another house. It's another, 50 G's in your pocket, or 100 G's or 20 G's, whatever, in your pocket. And they do it again and again. They play the game again and again. So what happens when I tell people, when you become really good at what you do and it becomes a little monogamous to you, what you should be doing is teaching other people to do what you do, so that you can now find excitement through other people's happiness and success. You and I, we've been to the circus a few times. And so it's like, all right, so we know what to expect, and all right, it's entertaining. But when you bring a child to the circus for the first time, you get excited to see it because you see it through their eyes and their excitement. So, like I said, when you're really good at doing something you love to do and you're showing somebody else, it's like, it's a whole nother excitement. So if you get to that point, become a teacher, or become a big brother or big sister to somebody, and give them something that you have that you just, maybe we just take it for granted. It's just a way of life. It is what it is. The excitement is not just people get in a routine, and it's all routine. So it is, and it becomes monogamous regardless. And it could even be within a relationship. So, if you find that you're in a rut within your relationship, then go away to a bed and breakfast for the weekend. Visit friends out of state. Go away for a little mini trip. Give them something just because, not because it's a birthday, but just because that they would like it. If you're really into them, if you really love the person, but just to do something out of the ordinary, just to keep it fresh. But anyway, I went off on a tangent again. So, but any case, but that was, that's how I feel about life again, as far as, making life exciting, not just for yourself, but when you can share that with other people and you ignite other people. So yeah, I have all this information with me, but my excitement is when I could share my gift, my viewpoints with other people who I know are clueless. So, and to get the testimonials from people of how I made a difference in their life. That's what you want to do. That's where the excitement is. It's like, what did you do to help change other people's lives? Because that enhances your life automatically. And if you're sharing your love with somebody, but they can't appreciate what you have to offer, then that's not the person for you. You want to share your love with somebody, or your energy with somebody who is excited to be in your company, or who appreciates what you have to offer. But if you're always chasing after somebody else's approval, that means you're not approving yourself. So
I'm just amazed that you can offer that kind of advice, which is extremely profound and extremely helpful at the same time, and you're not even touching on the psychic aspect of it or the medium aspect. This is strictly, life advice, life coaching, and that's
this is
just
life coaching. This is what naturally just pulled through just now, because I feel like the people who are going to watch are going to get more out of that than just me being a psychic as an
fair enough.
Entertaining. I mean, I could, like right now, we could switch gears. It's just one thing led to another, but this is the way I do readings also. I don't know why I say what I say, but it just comes right out. It just comes right out. And I say things inadvertently to people where I'm not sure if I'm on the money or not. consciously. But most of the times I am right on the money, and I'll just say things at the top of my head. I got to tell you a funny story you're going to appreciate.
Please do. Please do.
So I'm about to do a show in Atlantic City. All right. And not at the casinos, but at one of the smaller hotels in Atlantic City. And so a lady who was working at the hotel, she says, well, what do you do? I said, I'm a psychic. She goes, well, what does that mean? I said, I could predict people's future, and tell them about what's going to happen before it happens, type of stuff. I said, I'm not like the type of person who'll just stand here in front of you and say, oh, I see you have 3 sisters, you live in a red house, and you're going to Florida. She goes, but I am, and I do. I go, what are you talking about? I have 3 sisters, I live in a red house, and next week I'm going to Florida for vacation.
Nice.
And I said, wow, I guess I can do that.
It's nice to have that tool in your back pocket.
So it's nice. Yeah, it's called my ace in the hole, I guess, So it's, like I said, it's fun. It's interesting. It's fun. It's exciting. Another interesting story. This one's in my book. I have a book called Angels and Answers, and everyone can get it on Amazon. Or if you went to my website, artiehoffman.com, you can get my book, Angels and Answers. That's the book that I said could really help change your life. And it's a very simplistic reading book. You'll 100% understand it, and you'll read through it in a blink. So the story in it, I was doing a reading for a lady, and I was at a party. I call them Artie parties. So people hired me to go to their houses. I do private sessions also, but this one person, she hired me to go to her house. I'm reading for her friends and family. So this one lady comes down, and I'm reading for her. And I was connecting to her mother. She gave me a picture of her mother. And at the end of the session, she said to me, she goes, Art, she goes, I'm having a hard time believing that you're actually connecting to my mother. I said, I can only share with you what the spiritual world shares with me. I go, why do you say that? She goes, well, no, she goes, I give you credit. You told me some specific things that had to do with my mom, which, makes sense. And you said some general things could apply to anybody, but it still applied to my mother. But I'm still having a hard time that you're actually getting these messages from my mother. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. I said, well, let me see your mom's picture one last time. So anyway, her mom, the lady showed me a picture of her mom again for the last time because her reading was over. And I said, your mom is showing me cows. She goes, what do you want me to do with that? I said, I don't know. I said, your mom is showing me cows. So in my mind, in my thoughts, I saw all the cows standing up, and they were all mooing, all of them. So I looked at her and I said, I don't know why I'm doing this, but moo. And so she started to cry. And I go, what's the matter? And she points to her mother's picture, and she goes, that's her name. I go, what are you talking about? That's her name. Her name's Muriel, but everyone called her Moo.
Wow. So that's a neat way of actually getting something really, really specific from some very, very vague imagery that I'm trying to imagine how I would try to communicate from the other side if I was in that situation.
Well, the thing is that when you become a psychic, everybody has a relationship with the angels. You develop, you develop a communication, a language with the spiritual side. So they know, according to the way you think, they'll throw you images. So
that makes sense.
When you saw cows, you might be thinking, is your mom in Wisconsin? Does she love milk? Was she on the farm? So your interpretation of the cow and my interpretation of what I saw is different. If you see the image of a cemetery doesn't always mean death. A cemetery could also mean, oh, you're about to start something new. Because the cemetery is the ending of one thing, but it opens up new beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
So there you develop a language, you develop an interpretation with the spiritual world, and this communication zone, as you will, with your spirit guides or your angels. So they send you images, so that you'll understand. A lot of times the angels will sing a song to me, and whatever the song is about, that's what's going on with the person.
Interesting. Is it usually a song you know, or is it a new song?
Well, they'll play for me songs, and I don't know all the words to the songs, but I get the gist of certain words of the song. So the first time it ever happened to me, I'll never forget, is somebody was once asking me, it was an older woman actually, she was in her 60s, and she said to me, she goes, Art, she goes, what do you see from my relationship? And in that moment, I heard a song by Stevie Wonder. That's me and you, a part-time lover. We are undercover, passion on the run. And I said, and I'm hearing this song in my head. I said, your husband's cheating on you. She goes, I think you're right. She goes, I said, no, I know I'm right because I'm hearing the song in my head when you're asking me the question. And it just randomly popped into my head.
That's uncanny. And that, like, that's such a, it's weird, but it's spot on at the same time that that's how you could communicate with somebody. Because music is said to be the universal language.
Yeah. So there's another cool story where I have thousands of stories. So a lady comes in to see me for a reading, and she has tattoos like from her neck all the way throughout her whole body, you know. And she walks into my place for a reading. And she said to me, she goes, Art, I've been thinking about you every single day for the last 2 years. I go, really? She goes, yeah. And I'm flattered. I mean, I'm not attracted to her, but I was flattered. And I just said, okay. I said, why were you thinking about me every day for 2 years? She goes, you did a reading for me in your apartment 2 years ago, and you held my hand. And as soon as you held my hand, you started singing the song, Highway to Hell. I'm going to Highway to Hell, and which is by AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to her, I said, you're doing something right now you should not be doing. And if you continue doing it, you're going to get caught very soon and you're going to be put in jail. I said, you're going to get caught. I said, you need to stop what you're doing ASAP and just start a new leaf. She goes, well, she goes, 1 week later, I wasn't listening to you. And I did what I wasn't supposed to do. And I got caught doing it, what I should not be doing. And I ended up in jail for 2 years. And every day I woke up, I asked myself, why didn't I listen to Artie? So when I give messages to people, they're to, you know, so when I say before, when I said earlier in the interview, you know, do I give hard news or bad news to people? If I'm going to give hard news to someone, I'm giving you answers so that you don't have to experience it. So if I am doing a reading for somebody and the next day they get in an accident or they had a blow up fight or they got fired from their job from doing something stupid, whatever it may be. A few people come to me right afterwards and say, Art, why didn't you tell me that? How come you didn't see this coming? That means you were meant to go through it and the messages weren't given to me. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. It's not that I wouldn't want to protect you, but you were meant to go through that experience. But if I'm giving you images of warning, or if I was to see a car accident at a major intersection, you better play defensively while going through it. Even though you have the right of way, still play defensive in case some jackass is running a red light. You can get clobbered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so no news is good news. So if your life continues to be normal, that means you paid attention and you didn't get hurt. But yet you don't know the difference between getting in a deep pile of crap or your life is going on normally. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're the guest. I mean,
you know, it's just like a lot of people get pissed off at themselves. Like, damn, I made a wrong turn or I went 2 miles out of my way. There's a reason for that delay. You might have gotten in a car accident. Mm-hmm. You know, you might have gotten a ticket. You know, there's a reason why you are being delayed, you know, when you're going someplace. So it's like, yeah, it sucks because you want to get to where you need to get to and it causes anxiety, you know, but at the same token, it's like, you know, it's hard to fully understand. Again, as a human, you want to just accomplish what you want to accomplish or whatchamacallit, do what you want to do or get to where you want to get to. Understood. But if you're being delayed, there's a reason why there's always a reason for everything. Always. Even when things suck, there's a reason. When things suck and are not going your way, that's to build your character. So then the next time you're in a situation, you know what to do. But if you keep on repeating the same actions when shit's happening to you, when stuff is happening to you, then you're an idiot. That's the definition of an idiot. Somebody who keeps on experiencing the same thing over and over again. You're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until you change, then you start to, make healthier choices. So people who are always trying to protect their kids from everything, or their friends or their relatives from everything, they give them so much, or they overly do for them so much. So you're taking away all their power, because they don't know how to handle the circumstances anymore, because they're always dependent on you. And then you get upset because, damn, they don't leave me alone. Every time they have to wipe their ass, they have to call me up. Yeah, because you're mentally training them that every time they can't make a decision for themselves or have common sense, because you're overly doing everything for them. Let them make mistakes. Let them figure it out. Make them have to work for whatever. You don't have to protect them from everything. If they're in deep crap, if they're in really deep crap, yeah, you help them out because they're caught in a situation. But to feel responsible for someone's life on a regular basis, it's not just their fault, it's your fault. And you're taking away their spirit, you're taking away their confidence. They don't know how to think quick wit or to get themselves out of situations because they've always had somebody else do it for them. So not doing for other people all the time is not such a bad thing, So, and I believe, like, even when I raised my kid, it's like, whatever you put into yourself, I'll match it. But I'm not going to always, I provide all the necessities for my kid.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to, you want the extra stuff, the extra good stuff in life, whatever you put into it, I'll match it 50%. You give yourself nothing, that's what you get from me, nothing. You put in only 25%, I'm only going to put in 25%. But I'm not going to just make it all nice for you. You have to learn to survive and make things happen.
But we're well over the halfway mark here in the time we have slotted here. But there's definitely one thing I want to ask you about, because you might be the best person to go to. In the past week to week and a half, my wife and I have noticed, for lack of a better way of a description, a sound in our house that seems to respond to verbal commands. It's definitely a noise that just seems to be conscious, if you will. How should we approach this? What's the best way to deal with it?
Do you welcome it or you don't want it?
If it means no harm, I don't see a problem, but it does seem to be annoying, to say the least.
Well, again, it's up to you. If it will continue so long as you keep on. It's a spirit within your house.
Mm-hmm.
That is. Did one of your parents pass away?
We've had a couple of losses.
Okay, because I feel like it is. All right, so then that's an affirmation to me, because I feel like one of your dads passed away.
Both of them, actually.
Okay, because it's one of the dads. It's one of the dads who I feel like is making that noise.
Mm-hmm.
Was one of them not in a position to give you as much as they wanted to, or you didn't get as much from them growing up?
I'm sure they both had regrets. I don't want to speak for them, but I'm pretty sure if they were here, they would be nodding their heads.
Okay. Because it's the person, it's the father figure. Like I said, when I was just talking about what I was talking about just now, and then how you came in, like, again, there's no mistakes. When I was talking about not wanting to do so much, I feel like one of them, it was the one who struggled more than the other person. Which father had it harder than the other father?
Probably mine.
All right, that's your dad then. That's your dad that's there.
Okay.
That's who's making the noises. And he's also letting you know, for all what he gave you in life,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, a lot of challenges, a lot of crap or whatever, He is letting you know right now he is very proud of you. He
Thank
said
you.
you were very stubborn. He said you were a very stubborn person growing up, in many ways. But he said, but you always did what you wanted to do. And he goes, doing this right now, what you're doing right now, he thinks it's really cool. And he's very proud of you. He goes, if you did everything that I told you, he says your life would have been a lot more screwed up. So you learned from all his mistakes. And so a lot of times you did the opposite.
There's a lot to that. Definitely a lot to that.
So at moments you could have conversations with him, not a lot, but a lot of it was being raised by him with anger and resentments. And so you were just very focused on doing what you wanted to do. You were very determined to go after your career or to go after what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was definitely a trait your father didn't have for himself. So that's why he said for you to be a byproduct of him, he's floored or extremely happy that you came out the way you did, even from, it's like, I'm going to say this in a funny way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like growing crops, but yet the fertilizer is cow shit. So from cow manure, you came out to be a pretty healthy crop. Not perfect, but a pretty healthy crop. So that's his funny way of explaining.
That's it's definitely you're hitting a lot of points there, and I thank you for that. Yeah, you shed a lot of light on things for sure.
So, and there's no reason. So you wouldn't be where you are, but you were born into the situation. When we're in the spiritual world, before we're born into this life, we're the ones who pick our parents. We're the ones who pick how we're going to die and when we're going to die. We already know all this. We are the ones who pick all our major challenges. So if you were born into a world where your parents gave you everything, you wouldn't have the drive that you have right now. You're very driven, but because you came into this world with bricks on your back, it made you have to become a stronger person. So, as much as you might resent what other people might have had, but, the character of who you are became who you are because of your upbringing. So if you could just look at any positive trait that your father might have had.
There were many.
That you would not have had you have not experienced witnessing your father in a certain way or how he was. There were certain positive things he did instill in you, even though the overall general gist of his personality you didn't appreciate. But there were certain attributes about him, about his personality, or about, what he gave to you or shared with you or told you or whatnot. It might have been just few pickings, but those pickings were right. And you took only the good stuff and you instilled that. But the negative stuff made you stronger.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, we're definitely getting to the end here. I know you've got some stuff that you're going to get to. But I'd like to make a deal with you, Artie, because I really enjoyed this whole topic here. Would it be possible for me I want to get your book, I want to go through it, and I would like to have a chat with you again pretty soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
And I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything gets put on our show notes so that people can get links to your books and your website on there. And I want to go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell people that, if anybody wants a private reading for myself or to have an Artie party, I'm in Woodbridge, New Jersey, but I'm just as accurate over the phone. So my number is 732-778-7173. And I'll repeat it, 732-778-7173. So you can call me or text me, or you could email me, artiehoffman@gmail.com. Or just go to my website, artiehoffman.com. And I have a lot of really cool videos on YouTube. So you could also check that out. And I discuss about a lot of topics, a lot of mini topics are all about 3 to 5 minutes long or so.
Strongly recommend that because you're definitely onto a lot of things. And like I said, anything we talked about here, I could probably pick your brain about all afternoon. And I want to get the chance to do that.
Okay, a little at a time.
Okay,
I need to keep some of my brains for myself.
sure. Okay. Well, thanks for talking, Artie, and we'll talk soon.
It was a pleasure. Have a great day. Have a good weekend.
You too.
And stay healthy.